You talked a lot about the intensity that they played with.
Yeah.
Was that the be-all and end-all of that? Was it technical errors from yourself? How were you sort of reflecting on it a few more days to go?
I am changed my view in terms of them. I thought they were very good. They've got a good intensity and they played very well. However, I was, having reflected on it and having gone through the game in detail, I was more angry than anything else because we didn't do ourselves any justice out there. There were lots of opportunities that we created, probably more than them, and better opportunities, but our accuracy let us down. I felt that their half chances that they scored from, we should have dealt with them, we should have managed, but we didn't. And some of that is inexperience, but really, we built ourselves up for this game. We tried to bring a big focus within the group, and we let ourselves down because ultimately we weren't clinical enough, and some of that was to do with our frame of mind, to be honest. So as I say, I got angrier as the weekend went on. We've looked at it as a group, and I think that the players now are pretty disappointed with themselves in terms of, as I say earlier, the opportunities that were there for us that we didn't capitalise on. And one of the real disappointing things was in the first half, when we had those opportunities. Not only did we not make the most of them, but it sort of made the situation worse because we turned over, so we couldn't get any phases in our game. We couldn't build a game to attack them from. That was one of the most disappointing things of that first half. In the second half, we knew that we were on the back foot and we had to score early, which we did, and we did that through continuity and keeping hold of the ball and going through our phases. And that was the difference, really. We didn't do that in the first half.
Is there a sense then that you want to give a more genuine account of yourselves and show what you are about, because you feel you didn't do that? Yeah,
it's very frustrating, but when you come up against a team of that quality, if you're a percent off your game, that's what's going to happen, and that's one thing we take from the game. But very disappointed in what we showed. Really, we didn't show enough of what we are. I think there were glimpses in the second half in particular. If people go through the tape and look at what we were trying to do, they'll see it. And there was probably one moment in the game after we scored the first try where they had one of their forwards yellow carded. We went to the touch. It was an ideal opportunity for us to drive and put pressure on them, because the referee had already spoken to them about bringing the line out down. And again, a little bit of inexperience showed there between a couple of our players, where I almost thought they were starting to look vulnerable. And that was our only chance really in the game, and we weren't composed there. And after that, it was very difficult.
Because you could have got back to like 22-14.
If we could have got back to 14 points, as I said, they were almost starting to look a little bit vulnerable, and that was our big chance in the game, and we didn't capitalise on it.
I suppose the thing is, you've got young players that are having to learn on the hoof almost, they're having to learn in the highest competition you can play in. Yeah,
it is, and it's a little bit frustrating, but realising that there is an investment in some of these players, and I think I said after the game, I felt that if you look at young Andy Fenby, whose first experience of Europe really, and playing a couple of games for us in the Magnus League, his game probably reflected pretty much the team's performance, where he started very shaky. New experience, new intensity for him. But he grew into the game and was very accomplished by the end of that match, and there's no doubt that he's learned a lot from that, as have some of the other young players.
Do you have any reinforcements, or are you basically picking from the same anybody?
We'll have a look at it. We'll see what we can do. There is certain things we can do to freshen things up. There are players in the squad that are disappointed that they haven't had the opportunities to date. And I did feel that there were a couple of players who were a couple of percent off their best game. And when that happens, you've got to give opportunities to the boys who are pushing them. So I think there will be a couple of areas that we look at to maybe to give people who are chomping at the bit an opportunity.
You have no problems fitness-wise for boys who came out?
No, all the boys involved are fit, really.
I mean, clearly you will go over there with people expecting you to lose. I mean, that's the bottom line, isn't it? Is there a sense of the pressure off a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, we just focused on putting in a big performance, or a good performance, because we didn't do it. We didn't play to the best of our ability. And if you're going to beat a team like Leinster, you know, the one thing that we were clear of is that we had to be pretty much on top of our game. And as I said, we were a couple of % off, which made a big difference. I went through the tape and I put together a series of clips of our opportunities and chances that we didn't nail, and you know, I was able to put 18 clips together, which is a heck of a lot by any means. When, you know, so it just goes to show that what we are capable of, but we're not quite there yet.
You talked about being angry. I mean, how have you shown that to the players? Have you shown it in an angry way, as it were, or in a kind of considered way?
Both, I suppose. You know, I think both. It was a matter of analysing it, but then sometimes you have to show some emotion to get your point across as well. So I think it's a mixture of them both. Yeah.
Do they feel that themselves? She says.
I think they're hugely disappointed. You know, that there's some just basic stuff, and you know, these are their words, not mine. You know, you can't coach human error out of players. They've got to be able to do that, and they've said that, not me. And that was their response to, you know, what we showed them.
What you saw of Leinster, regardless of what happens to the rest of the squad, is it going to take a pretty good side to stop them retaining this title? Because that first 40 minutes was pretty complete from what they did, wasn't it?
Yeah, as I said, I thought it was a very good performance from them. But if you look at, you see, the first try was a very important part in the game. And that was just far too easy for them. You know, Hogan got the ball, he didn't have to do much apart from run straight, and there were two people in front of him who could have made a difference. So that's very, very soft. And again, you know, that's where some of the anger comes into it. And the second and the third, and arguably the fourth, were similar. But they have got good finishers. Given half a chance, they will take those chances, particularly if you're not 100% on your game. And the try they scored from the quick throw-in, that really showed, I believe, a lack of experience in that intensity of rugby, because there's 2 or 3 players just walking. They've switched off, and you can't afford to do that against teams like that.
It's really a good atmosphere. They sold 19,000 tickets already, but that's what you want your players to experience, more of that, I guess.
Yeah, one of the other things we've spoken about this week is that for some reason I just felt a few players were a little bit flat, and I felt we built the game up well in terms of our prep and what we'd said in the preparation. Everybody was aware of how important the game was to us. So, coupled with some of the other stuff I've spoken about, the fact that a couple of players were a little bit flat, again, was disappointing. And we just got to bring an intensity that we probably didn't bring in the game at home, which is disappointing, but something that we're aware of.
What do you sort of sense is keeping people away?
It's very difficult, you know. One thing that we know, for instance, you know, we've got the Ospreys on Boxing Day, and it's probably going to be a sellout. People want to come and see certain matches. You'd have liked to have thought that ourselves against Leinster would be a match, particularly as where we put ourselves before that game, would be a match that everybody would want to come and see. I think we have a support base which is quite broad and varied, and you know, that's one of the things that we're looking at, is where does that support base exist now. And you know, we traditionally, obviously, West Wales has been an area that we look to target, but I do think, you know, we're picking up support in other areas as well. I think the brand that we have and the brand of rugby that you try and play is important. We are trying to play an open brand of rugby, you know, and we won't go away from that ever. And I'd like to think that when people come here, they get entertained. We don't always go away happy, because we don't always win at the moment, but certainly we love to play.
Like you say, it's endemic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's across the board, really,
yeah.
isn't it? Good, thank you.
Good.